Good morning. Good morning. As you get here, say hello and let me know that you're here as I go and go live in all the different places. Here we go. Give me just a second. And back over here. All right. I believe we are live, but let me pull this on my phone to make sure. Where are we here? Perfect. One more thing. All right. Beautiful. Well, I'm so excited to be here with you guys today, and I'm just going to share real quick while I'm seeing who's going to be popping on here. And I know a lot of times people want to stay in the background, and that's okay, but it feels good to see them there, right? Because they will pop up on my phone. Sometimes, a lot of times they're not there. I don't know what the difference is, but hold on one second. Excuse me. Oh, my allergies are really kicking in. But I had an experience yesterday. I'm just going to share real quick while we're waiting. Um, while we give everybody a few minutes to get here. But I was out walking the dog, and it was getting late, but it was still light out. When it wasn't dark, I was not didn't have a flashlight or anything. I was walking, and I was kind of a little distracted because the dog's walking beside me on the leash, and I'm looking at everything because everything's beautiful, right? And all of a sudden he jumps, and I thought, what the heck? And I look, and I said, what happened? And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I see a snake that's right at the curb, and it is up like this, ready to strike. And I'm thinking, what the hell? And he didn't make a sound, he just jumped. So I felt pretty confident it didn't get him. But then I get my camera out because I wanted to take a picture of this and see what kind of snake it was and everything. But it would blend it in so well into the pine straw and the wood chips and all the stuff that were there that I almost couldn't find it again when I got my camera out. But I got a picture of it as it's leaving, right? But when I first looked over there, it was up. Um, Freaky. I've never seen it in person like that before, right? And then when I got back, I took the video and I had sent it to my niece and my sister. And I actually posted it on Facebook too. But my niece says, Vicky, do you know or realize that that's a copperhead? And I thought, holy smokes, no. Luckily, in the video, it looks like I'm real close, but I'm not that close to it because it was moving away, but I was zooming in on it. But then I felt a little freaked out because there's so many spots that thing could have been, and I almost stepped on it. If he hadn't jumped over and moved me, then I would have probably stepped on that thing. So I was quite freaked out about it. But I'm feeling better this morning. But I will say, when I walked him this morning, I was much more aware. And I feel like things happen like that, not necessarily just about a snake, but about other things that are maybe a precursor, a warning of be aware because something like this could happen if you're not careful. And I don't think about snakes, but I know they're there. A lot of them are harmless. I don't want to get bit by any of them. But the thing is, that one's a pretty potent poison, right? So I feel like it was a gift because now, as I'm walking the dog, especially later in the evening, I'm going to be much more ultra aware of what's on the ground around me. And so it was a blessing, especially since nothing happened. But yeah, that was my evening. So I was quite freaked out about it last night. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into our affirmation and journal prompt, which have nothing to do with snakes, but that's what was on my mind this morning. Hold on. Good morning over on Instagram. Glad to have you here. All right. Our affirmation for this morning is in stillness, I connect with the deepest parts of myself. My inner wisdom is always guiding me. And this is why when I talk about the journal prompt and everything that I suggest and ask you to take some time in silence, because our mind is always busy, always busy. Remember, we have the 50 billion bits of information that are coming at us per second, and 2,000 bits is what we see, what we're aware of, because our mind is always creating a little thread of what is possible for us to see. And so it's always searching, is that valuable? Is that valuable? Is this aligned with who they think they are? Is this right? So that's why two people can be in the same area and see totally different things. It's our filter of the world. And so in stillness, when we can quiet our minds, and that doesn't mean your mind's not thinking. No, it means you focus on something, because you can't think two thoughts at the same time. And so as you tap into the stillness, that means you're focusing on your breath, you're counting your breath, or you're saying your breath in and out, or whatever. Sometimes maybe it's some people like doing a chant, so you might do the Om chant, and all it's doing is it's bringing you into the moment, and it is forcing the chatter to quiet out a little bit. And what happens with us as humans is we start that. We may set our timer, we are getting quiet, we're listening to our breath. And the natural tendency is to suddenly realize, wow, I'm thinking about what I did last week. I'm thinking about what's to come. How long have I been thinking about this? And you don't even realize how much your mind just takes off on a different path. And then when that happens, you bring it back by focusing on your breath, your chant, whatever it is that helps you to stay in the moment. Sometimes what I do, and I've shared this many times before, sometimes what I do is I'll start listening to the sounds and I label them, because it helps me to back into the moment. So it may be something as simple as, I can hear my ceiling fan going right now. I can hear the hum of my computer. I have a copper bowl downstairs that has these chimes that go around in water, and I can hear those chimes. I might hear one of my cats going by the door. Sometimes I can hear somebody outside with a lawnmower or a leaf blower or something like that. So when you do is you just capture those sounds and you put a label on them. And then that quiets you back down, and then you focus on your breath again. Because the beauty in doing this, in catching and tapping into that stillness, that it connects to your inner guidance, that deepest part of you, your God voice, your subconscious mind. You connect in a totally different way. And I shared the other morning, I had a little bit of a challenging morning, and I caught myself going down this little rabbit hole, and how one thing dominoes into another, right? You have one thing happen that aggravates you, then you're going to stub your toe. You're going to do something that continues that emotional thread, right? And I recognized that I was beginning that spiral, and I wanted to stop it. So I sat down and set my timer for 25 minutes, because I knew I had 25 minutes that I could do this for myself. And I just sat in silence. And the beauty of doing that was it quieted that reactionary thing that was going on. It tapped me into my inner guidance, and I'm in the middle of writing a book. I'm getting close to the end of it, but I'll have to be going back and doing other things to it. So maybe I'm still in the middle. The story is almost complete, but I'm going to have a lot of things to go back and change and correct, right? But in that time in silence, suddenly I got these epiphanies of ideas of ways to enhance these characters or to add to the story that I might not have come up with otherwise, or I might have, but maybe it would have taken a long time. And so tapping in to the stillness and the silence and the inner part of you, it's like you get guidance, you get ideas, you get calm, reset, right? And anytime you find yourself being reactionary to something that's going on, whether it be with a partner, your children, your coworkers, your boss, even your thoughts, you can be reactionary to some of those, right? Anytime you catch yourself doing that, the best thing you can do for yourself is to stop and get into the stillness. And I tell some of my clients, that if something's going on, go to the bathroom. If you can't stop right there and tap into the stillness, go to the bathroom. Because even at work, if you say, I'm sorry, I've got to go to the restroom, you can go to the restroom. So go to the restroom and then just breathe in and breathe out and relax, because most of the time when we're in a reactive mode, we're in the fight or flight. And so that actually, it's taking all of our energy and putting it into our arms and our legs. And so we feel like we're supposed to be running from danger. And we don't want to live our lives in this heightened state of awareness of danger, because that was useful back in the cave days when we had to know there was a tiger right there and we needed to get away and we had to have the energy to run, right? But we've got a boss that's driving us crazy. We don't want to be constantly in that place of fight or flight, right? So we come back into our stillness. However you can do that. There are times that I'll actually have clients that say it's very beneficial to just, like, if they're sitting and having a conversation, they can just close their eyes for a second, or they can look down for a second and just count their breaths. And it just kind of calms the space down. So there are little tips and tricks that you can do no matter where you're at to stop that fight or flight, so that you can connect to your inner guidance, to that that inside, that subconscious mind, that God voice, so that you can hear, because it's always talking to us, always talking to us. Most of the time, the chatter's just keeping it where it's almost like, how when you, if you've ever been a person that has been lived in a place where it was quite noisy. So let's say, for instance, you lived near a train track or you lived near the airport. In the beginning, it will grate your nerves, but after a while, you don't even hear those things. And somebody might come to visit and you say, oh, how can you stand that noise? And you didn't even hear it, right? Because our brain filters out the things that aren't important, right? It stays on what we want to focus on. So when you're focused on all that chatter, you cannot hear that inner guidance that's speaking to you, no matter how hard you try, while that chatter's going on. So we're getting into this space of allowing that guidance to flow. All right, so I'm going to, let's see. How am I going to do this? Let me see. I gotta remove this thing here. And remember, your inner guidance, your subconscious has treasures and ideas and epiphanies and things that would really, really help you if you can just tap into that silence and listen. Hold on. Sorry, I had to mute myself because I was going to cough. I didn't want to cough in your ears. All right, so our journal prompt. What messages, ideas, or inspirations are ready to come forward today? There's something there. There always is. But today, we're going to really tap into it. So, as our affirmation is in stillness, and I connect with the deepest parts of myself, my inner wisdom is always guiding me. Now we're going to put pen to paper and really let that guidance flow out. So, like I always recommend, set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. If you've got more time than that to really get into this space, give it to yourself. Because I'm telling you, when I did that the other morning, I knew I had 25 minutes. I set 25 minutes, and the 25 minutes felt like it was gone just like that. And the things that I was able to write out afterwards were beautiful, that I really, really loved the things that were coming to me. Correct? Right? Correct. What the heck? The thing is that the only time you can hear that is when you get into that silent space. So I invite you to really give yourself a little bit of time. And if you don't have enough time this morning, try it again later today and just see what comes up for you. So get out your notebook, your journal, put the date, the affirmation, the journal prompt, and then you say it out loud with emotion, with feeling. We don't worry about the volume. That's irrelevant. Some people feel like you have to scream it to the stars or whatever. But no, you're tapping into here, not there, not there. You're tapping into your inner voice, your God voice, and it's all here. It's not out there. But our inner guidance, our God voice, our intuition, our gut, all of that, our subconscious mind, it reacts to the emotions. It's the emotions that you give thing. Just like, no matter what happens to us, can either be a gift. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning. It can be a gift, or it can be a tragedy. It doesn't matter. What matters is the emotion that we continue to give it, and taking the lesson from something and learning from something and pulling out what was the value that I got from that experience. Like I talked about, the snake yesterday, and I almost stepped on it, scared me, but everything was fine. And the lesson that came out of that, and I know it's a trivial thing, but to me in the moment, it felt big, right? But the thing that came out of it was it woke me up to remember nature is out there and we're visiting it. And so it's not its job to avoid me. It's my job to make sure I see it and I don't step on it, right? Because if I'd stepped on that snake and it bit me, who knows? I mean, it was a copperhead. I don't know. Would I have survived? Hell, I don't know. If it had bitten the dog, would it have survived? Maybe. I don't know. The thing is that it was a wake-up call. So a lot of times things that happen to us are wake-up calls, right? They're to make us aware of something so that that doesn't happen again. Like I had a close call in the car one time when I was driving, and my inner guidance, whatever, I was at the red light, and normally I'm pretty quick on that accelerator as soon as the light turns green, right? And this time it was like something said, take your time. You got plenty of time. Don't rush. And so I didn't go immediately. The car behind me honks its horn and everything. And in that moment, this car speeds through. Whereas if I had gone exactly at the time that light turned, that car would have hit me. Now, whether it hit me in the side or in the rear, it doesn't matter. It would have hit me. And so that was my amazing delay, right? There are no accidents, right? So it was there to make me more aware of my surroundings, to make me more aware of those red lights and how easy it is for someone to come through. Because after that, there was several times that I did a delay because I had that happen and somebody ran a red light. So it was beautiful, right? I've been in accidents before that afterwards I thought, okay, this was a very small accident. It could have been big, and then made me even more aware. So there's a lot of things that are always happening around us. It's just, can we pick out the lesson? Can we pick out what we need to gain from it and keep going and not be a victim of whatever it is that happened? I kind of got off on a tangent with that, right? But that's okay. That needs to be said, evidently, or it wouldn't have come to me. So our journal prompt, as we get into that silence, back to the silence, and when we don't have to be saying this message in our minds all the time, because our subconscious mind already knows what it is. We've said it with feeling. We've given it the instructions, right? So what messages, ideas, or inspirations are ready to come forward today? That's a powerful question, right? And then when you get your pen, your pencil out, and you start to write, the things that are going to show up are going to be amazing. The thing is that you want to not judge what shows up. And it's kind of like when somebody shows you a picture, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, right? And you're not supposed to filter it or anything. You're just supposed to bam, 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 bam. Well, do the same thing with this. Whatever shows up, whatever phrase, word, or anything that comes up, you write it down. It doesn't matter if it doesn't sound like it's relevant. It doesn't matter if it sounds stupid. It doesn't matter if it's like, I don't even want to think about that. Put it down anyway. It's for you. And there's a message in that. It may mean that that's not what you're supposed to do, but there's a message in there for you. And the message is going to be there to guide you, to give you ideas and inspiration, because it's all wanting to come. It just hasn't been able to. So you're allowing and opening your heart space, your mind, to hear. And so that's why the silence is so magical. And I will say, before I really started doing this work, did I take time in silence to do this stuff? No. I would just journal, and those are surface thoughts. That's the conscious mind. We want to tap into the subconscious, the superconscious, our God voice, our inner stuff, right? Allow it. And this is how you do. Hold on, let me see if I got any. All right, so does that make sense? Now I know I've got some watchers here, but Jackie has said hello. So Jackie, does that make sense to you? Let me take a sip of my coffee. But while I'm thinking of it, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow is Thursday. That's not what I really want to remind you of, but tomorrow is Thursday. And at 5 p.m. Eastern, Sue and I have our monthly Burn Your Old Beliefs, the BYOB, which is an amazing process of doing a burning bowl ceremony. We do it together on Zoom. And there's a process that I take people through for you to release the old beliefs that are holding you back, the old beliefs that maybe are just keeping you stuck. We release those beliefs, and then we bring in a new belief that we can internalize. And we do this process together. And it's beautiful to me. I love it. It's calming. It just feels like such a release. And I can't wait to do that when we've got a retreat that we're thinking about doing. Well, we're not thinking about it. We are doing it. We are planning it, and it's going to be coming later this year. And so I can't wait to do this process with everybody at the retreat, because it is such an amazing process. Online and in person, it's like, hold on, let's see what this says. Our God voice is so powerful, and it makes sense to me. Every good thing I have achieved in this life have come from spending quiet time in God's presence. Yes, yes. I mean, that quiet time, before I started doing that, mm, but once I started doing it, it was like there was this peace that washed over me in such an amazing way. And like I said, the other morning when I had those two things that happened that really stressed me, it was like the thing that kept me from repeating that all day long was that I took that time in silence to release all that was going on and say, okay, that happened, but it doesn't have to affect the rest of my day. And I was able to just completely stop it in its tracks. And so we can all do that. It's very easy, but you've got to allow yourself to do it. And the quicker you can catch yourself into those spirals of thought, the better off you are, right? All right, so I reminded you of the BYOB, but that's at 5 p.m. tomorrow. But then at 7 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern, Christine and I are once again doing the two truths and a lie because it was so much fun. Everybody had a blast. And I know you probably won't be able to, Jackie, because it's late and your time zone is really late for you. But maybe we can try to find a time when we can do them earlier in the day. But it's like we had so much fun because the things that we learned about people, and because some of the things that none of us were great at figuring it out on everybody, but we were blown away with the things that we thought were totally fabricated that were true. It was like, wow. And so come and play with us. It is going to be fun. And you come armed with your two truths and a lie so that nobody can do and see your facial expression or how you move your eyes or what you do with your body as a clue of what is going on. I was there halfway and it was so fun. Yes, it was, wasn't it? It was really, really, I had so much fun doing it. And there were several people that reached out and said, oh, I hate that I missed it. I hate that I missed it. So Christine and I said, well, let's just do another one. We'll just do it really quick. And so tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'll put in the comment section, I'll put the link to both of these things so that you can pick which one you want to come to, or you can come to both of them. I would love to have you there. And then next week, we've got April Berry, the romance author, and she's going to be here sharing about her new book. And I can't wait to have her here. I've got a couple of people that are already scheduled to come in as guest experts for June. And so we've just got so much goodness going on here, and I would love to have everybody participating. And then, the dating challenge is coming up as well. And we postponed it. It's going to actually be happening next Wednesday evening will be our kickoff, because we had a lot of people that were wanting to get in, and that and they were worried they were going to be late getting in, or they couldn't be there for that. So we just said, okay, we're going to just postpone it a week, and that'll give us an opportunity to get some of our videos done that we're doing. So the dating challenge is afoot. And the thing that's really different about this one, because those that are aware of when Stacey Lauren started her Do the Thing with the dating challenge, it was only for singles. And the way we're doing it, it is for singles. And it is for married people, because married people need to start dating their spouses too. And then it can even be for people who are not that interested in dating, but they want to be more confident in all the areas of their life and how they show up. And then maybe they want to date themselves, because I fall into this place of every now and then it's like I'll think, oh, maybe I'll date, but then it's fleeting and I'm not ready to date again. And so I don't know how I'm going to go through this process, where I'm going to fall, but wherever you are, come and join us, because it's a lot of inner reflection and fun, getting to know people, and challenges and dares along the way. And so it's really fun. So if you're interested in the dating challenge, I'll put the link in there for that too. Let me put a note on here. So much much fun. Had to put a note on here, but otherwise it won't happen. So, all right, let me go back to the affirmation really quick. In stillness, I connect with the deepest parts of myself. My inner wisdom is always guiding me. Always, right? Always. It's just, are you listening? Put this on your index card, the screensaver on your phone. Put it somewhere that you see it today. Put it on a sticky note. Put it on your on a piece of paper on your refrigerator. The screensaver on your phone. Put it somewhere so that today you're reminded to get still and connect. And like I said, I had one client that it felt she never could find that still space. She had so much responsibilities and so many things going on, and I won't go into it because, it's not important. All that matters is where you are. So if you're one of those people that you are just busy, 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 and you can't find the time to just get still with yourself, like I said, go to the bathroom, lock the door, and just breathe. You can take 5 minutes to yourself there. Maybe you can do 10 minutes. When you go in there to get a bath or a shower, stillness, let the water wash over you and help you get even more still. And let's get into that inner wisdom, right? So that's how you start. You tap into that stillness and let it be part of your daily action. And if you could do it more than once a day, and then the journal prompt. What messages, ideas, and inspirations are ready to come forward today? Write them all. And like I've said before, when you first start doing this, when you get pen to paper, it's like, what do I don't know. And you kind of feel like, well, this isn't working. But whatever thoughts come into your mind, even if it's the phrase, this isn't working, this is stupid, I don't feel anything, I don't hear anything, whatever, write it down. But what happens as you continue this process? You're going to start recognizing those inspirational voices, those things that show up that are fleeting sometimes. And the more you do this, the more you have the ability to tap in. And I want you, and I hope you begin to get that tapping in. And like I said, we don't critique it. We don't judge it. We just write it down. And it is magical as you go through this. All right. So you have a magical, inspired day, remembering stillness. That's the golden goose of your life, in the stillness. Thank you for being here, Jackie, and all the others that are watching. I appreciate you. And over on Instagram, I appreciate you as well. And I will see you on Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, unless on Thursday you decide to come and see me and my friends at the BYOB ceremony, the Burn Your Old Beliefs ceremony, and the Two Truths and a Lie party. I cannot wait to see you there. All right. Mwah.